Captain Jake Morrison stared out the window of the USS Defiance at the empty space around them. Stars dotted the black void like tiny diamonds, but they never seemed to change. For 3 years, he had been stuck out here in the middle of nowhere, watching over a ship that nobody wanted. The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of old machines. Jake rubbed his tired eyes and looked at his watch. Another 12 hours until his shift ended, and then what? More of the same tomorrow. He was 52 years old, and this was not how he thought his career would end. "Captain, the coffee maker is broken again," said Lisa Banks as she walked onto the bridge. Lisa was the chief engineer, a woman in her 30s with grease under her fingernails and a tool belt around her waist. She kept the ship running, but it was getting harder every day. "Can you fix it?" Jake asked. "I can try, but we need new parts. The ones we have are 20 years old." Lisa shook her head. "This whole ship is falling apart. I don't know why they keep us out here." Jake knew why. The USS Defiance was a prototype, an experimental ship built with new technology that the Earth Defense Force decided was too risky to use. Instead of scrapping it, they sent it to the outer edge of the solar system with a small crew to watch for trouble. But there was never any trouble out here. Ryan Cole sat at the weapons station playing a game on his computer. He was young, maybe 25, and had joined the crew hoping to see real action. Instead, he spent his days running practice drills with guns that had no ammunition. "Any word from Earth?" Ryan asked without looking up from his screen. "Nothing new," Jake replied. "Same old reports about peace talks and trade agreements." Ryan made a disgusted sound. "I should have stayed in school. My mom always said I'd end up in a dead-end job." Katie Wells was at the navigation station checking the sensors for the 100th time that day. She was quiet and smart, the kind of person who noticed things others missed. Katie had been on the ship for 2 years, and Jake had never seen her complain about anything. "Captain, I'm picking up some strange readings from the outer sensors," Katie said. Jake walked over to her station. "What kind of readings?" "I'm not sure. Could be equipment failure. These sensors are old like everything else on this ship." Katie frowned at her screen. "But the pattern is odd. It's like something big is moving out there, but it's too far away to see clearly." "How big?" Jake asked. "Really big, maybe 100 ships or more." Jake felt his heart skip a beat. "Are you sure?" "No, sir. Like I said, it could be equipment failure, or maybe it's just asteroids." Katie didn't sound convinced. The bridge door opened and Dr. Amanda Foster walked in. She was the ship's science officer, a woman in her 40s who had helped design the USS Defiance 20 years ago. Amanda was quiet most of the time, spending her days in the lab studying old data that nobody else cared about. "Captain, I need to talk to you about something important," Amanda said. Her voice was serious, which was unusual for her. "What is it, Doctor?" "I've been going through the old files about this ship. There are things about the USS Defiance that the crew was never told." Amanda looked around the bridge at the other officers. "Things that might be important if we ever face real danger." Jake had heard rumors about the ship's mysterious past, but he had never paid much attention to them. "What kind of things?" "The systems on this ship are not what they seem. The engines, the weapons, the shields, they were all built using technology that Earth found from 3 different alien races. The scientist who designed this ship combined all of that technology with human engineering." Ryan looked up from his computer. "Alien technology? Are you serious?" "Very serious," Amanda replied. "The project was shut down not because it didn't work, but because it worked too well. The Earth Defense Force was afraid of what they had created." "That's impossible," Lisa said. "I've been working on these systems for 3 years. They're just old human technology." "That's what you were told," Amanda said. "But I was there when they built this ship. I helped design it. The real capabilities were classified at the highest levels." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. "What capabilities?" Before Amanda could answer, an alarm started beeping on Katie's station. She looked at her screen, and her face went pale. "Captain, those readings are getting stronger. Whatever is out there, it's getting closer." Jake looked at the main screen, which showed nothing but empty space. But he trusted Katie's work. If she said something was coming, Then something was coming. How long until it gets here? He asked. At current speed, maybe 6 hours. Jake thought about their situation. They were alone out here, with no way to call for help. The ship's communication system could barely reach Earth, and even if they sent a message, it would take hours to arrive. Tony, try to contact Earth. Tell them we might have a problem out here. Tony Garcia was the communications officer, a man in his 20s who had been with the crew for only 6 months. He started working on his equipment, but Jake could see the worry on his face. Sir, the communication array is not working properly. I can send a message, but it will be weak and might not get through. Jake looked around at his crew. They were all good people, but they were not prepared for a real fight. The USS Defiance had been forgotten by everyone, including the people who built it. Dr. Foster, I need to know everything about this ship's capabilities. If trouble is coming, I want to be ready. Amanda nodded. I'll get the classified files, but Captain, you need to understand something. If I'm right about what's coming, and if this ship can do what I think it can do, then everything is about to change. Jake looked out at the stars again. They didn't seem peaceful anymore. They seemed like they were waiting for something to happen. Get me those files, Doctor, and everyone else prepare for whatever is coming our way. The USS Defiance continued its slow drift through space, but Jake knew that their quiet days were about to end. Something was coming, and they would have to face it with an old ship and a small crew. But maybe, just maybe, they had more power than anyone realized. Admiral Vexatherin stood on the command deck of his massive warship, looking at the holographic display that showed the human solar system. His tall, gray-skinned body was covered in the ceremonial armor of the Zephyrian Empire, and his 4 arms moved gracefully as he studied the battle plans. Report on the human fleet, he ordered his tactical officer. Sir, our spies count 50 human warships in total. They use primitive projectile weapons and basic energy shields. Their largest ship is only half the size of our smallest destroyer. The officer's voice showed amusement. This will be easier than our conquest of the Altarian colonies. Vexatherin nodded. In his 300 years of life, he had destroyed 17 different civilizations. Humans would be number 18. His grand armada of 200 ships was more than enough to crush any resistance these primitive creatures could offer. How long until we reach their homeworld, he asked. 6 hours, Admiral. Should we send the surrender demand now? Yes, give them the standard message. Submit or be destroyed. Vexatherin turned away from the display. These humans will learn what happens to species who dare to expand into Empire space. On the USS Defiance, Tony Garcia was still trying to fix the communication system when his equipment suddenly came alive with signals. Strange voices speaking in an alien language filled the bridge through the speakers. Captain, I'm picking up a transmission, Tony called out. It's not from Earth. Put it on the main screen, Jake ordered. The screen flickered, and then showed the face of Admiral Vexatherin. His alien features were cold and threatening as he spoke in perfect English. Humans of the Sol System. I am Admiral Vexatherin of the Zephyrian Empire. Your species has expanded into space that belongs to us. You have 48 hours to surrender completely. Disarm your ships, abandon your colonies, and submit to Empire rule. If you refuse, we will destroy every human ship, station, and settlement we find. This is your only warning. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Holy shit, Ryan whispered. Language, Jake said automatically, but his mind was racing. An alien empire with 200 ships was demanding humanity's surrender. The small Earth Defense Force didn't stand a chance. Tony, did that message go to Earth too? Jake asked. Yes, sir. It was broadcast on all frequencies. Everyone in the solar system heard it. Katie looked up from her sensor station. Captain, I'm getting clearer readings now. The alien fleet is huge. I count at least 150 ships, maybe more. They're moving fast toward Earth. Jake felt sick. Humanity's entire fleet was only 50 ships, and most of those were smaller, vessels designed for patrol duty, not major battles. The aliens had 3 times as many ships, and they probably had better weapons too. Amanda, I need those classified files now, Jake said. Dr. Foster was already working at a computer terminal. I'm accessing them now, Captain, but we have a problem. The files are locked behind security codes that I haven't used in 20 years. Try to remember, Jake said. We might be humanity's only hope out here. Lisa Banks looked confused. Captain, what can one old ship do against 200 alien warships? We don't even have working weapons. That's what I'm trying to find out, Jake replied. On Earth, emergency alarms were ringing in the Defense Force headquarters. Admiral Helen Price was in the command center, surrounded by officers and computer screens showing the approaching alien fleet. What's our status? She demanded. All available ships are moving to the Titan defense line, reported her aide. 47 ships total. The other 3 are in repair and can't fight. 47 against 200, Admiral Price said grimly. What about our secret weapons projects? Nothing ready for combat, ma'am. The new particle beam cannons won't be finished for 6 months. Admiral Price studied the tactical display. The alien fleet was moving in perfect formation, showing the discipline of an experienced military force. Her own ships looked tiny by comparison. Send a message to all colonies and space stations. Begin evacuation procedures immediately. And try to contact any Earth ships that might be in the outer system. Back on the USS Defiance, Amanda finally broke through the security locks on the classified files. Her eyes grew wide as she read the information on her screen. Captain, you need to see this, she said quietly. Jake walked over to her station. What did you find? The USS Defiance was built using technology from 3 different alien species: the Corellian quantum drive system, vegan temporal shielding, and Nexus particle beam weapons. When they were combined with human engineering, the result was... Amanda paused. The result was terrifying. What do you mean? The ship was designed to exist partially outside normal space and time. It can phase in and out of reality, making it almost impossible to hit. The weapons can destroy matter at the quantum level, and the power source draws energy from alternate dimensions. Ryan had been listening from his station. If this ship is so powerful, why did they abandon the project? Because the first test nearly destroyed the solar system, Amanda said. The scientists were afraid they had created something too dangerous to use. Jake felt his heart pounding. Could we actually fight those alien ships? I don't know, Amanda admitted. The systems have never been fully activated together. It could work or it could kill us all. Katie suddenly spoke up. Captain, the alien fleet is changing course. They're not heading straight for Earth anymore. Where are they going? They're spreading out to surround the solar system. It looks like they want to cut off any escape routes. Jake realized that the aliens were being smart. They weren't just planning to attack Earth. They were planning to trap the entire human fleet and destroy it piece by piece. How long until Earth's fleet reaches the defense line? He asked. 3 hours, Katie replied. And how long until the aliens attack? Based on their current speed, maybe 4 hours. Jake looked around at his crew. Lisa was worried about the ship's old systems. Ryan was eager for a fight but had no ammunition for his weapons. Katie was tracking enemy movements with equipment that barely worked. Tony was trying to contact Earth with a communication system held together with spare parts. And Amanda was reading files about technology that might save them all or destroy them. Amanda, how long would it take to activate all the experimental systems? If everything works perfectly, maybe 2 hours. But Captain, I have to warn you, if we do this, there's no going back. Once these systems are online, the USS Defiance will become the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy. Jake thought about the choice he had to make. They could try to run, but their damaged engines wouldn't get them very far. They could hide, but the aliens would find them eventually. Or they could fight with weapons they didn't understand against, an enemy that had conquered 17 other civilizations. Do it, Jake said. Start bringing the systems online. Sir, are you sure about this? Lisa asked. Jake looked out at the stars, knowing that somewhere out there 200 alien warships were coming to destroy everything he had sworn to protect. No, he said, but it's the only chance we have. The USS Defiance continued drifting through space, but now it was no longer just a forgotten ship with a forgotten crew. It was about to become humanity's last hope. Amanda Foster's hands shook as she entered the activation codes into the computer. She had not used these codes in 20 years, and she hoped she remembered them correctly. Around her, the ship's lights flickered as old systems began to wake. "Up, Captain, are you really sure about this?" Lisa asked again. She was standing next to the main power console, watching numbers climb higher and higher on her screen. "The power readings are going crazy. I've never seen anything like this." "We don't have a choice," Jake replied. He stood in the center of the bridge watching his crew work. "Amanda, how long until the systems are fully online?" "Maybe 90 minutes if everything goes right," Amanda said. "But Jake, I need to tell you something. When we built this ship, we never activated all 3 alien technologies at the same time. We were too scared of what might happen." Ryan looked up from his weapons station. "What could happen?" "The ship could tear itself apart, or it could tear a hole in space, or it could disappear into another dimension and never come back." Amanda's voice was quiet. "We just don't know." Katie suddenly called out from her station. "Captain, I'm getting reports from Earth. The Defense Force fleet is moving to intercept the aliens. Admiral Price is leading them personally." "How many ships does she have?" Jake asked. 47, Katie replied. "Against 200 alien warships." Jake closed his eyes for a moment. 47 brave crews were flying toward certain death to buy Earth a little more time. He thought about all the people on those ships, young men and women who had families waiting for them at home. "Tony, can you contact Admiral Price?" Jake asked. "I can try, sir, but our communications are still weak." "Do it. I want to warn her about what we're attempting." As Tony worked on the communication system, strange things began to happen around the USS Defiance. The lights on the bridge started changing colors, shifting from white to blue to purple and back again. The air itself seemed to shimmer like heat waves on a hot day. "Amanda, what's happening?" Jake asked. "The quantum drive is starting to affect local spacetime," Amanda explained. "Reality is beginning to bend around us." Lisa looked at her engineering displays with growing alarm. "Captain, the power core is drawing energy from somewhere else. It's like the ship is plugged into some kind of invisible power source." "That's the dimensional tap," Amanda said. "It's pulling energy from alternate realities where the laws of physics are different. In theory, it gives us unlimited power." "In theory?" Ryan asked. "We never tested it," Amanda admitted. Suddenly, the ship lurched to one side, even though they were floating in empty space with no engines running. Everyone on the bridge grabbed onto something to keep from falling. "What was that?" Jake demanded. Katie stared at her sensors in confusion. "Captain, according to my readings, we just moved 3,000 kilometers, but we didn't fire any engines. The quantum drive is beginning to displace us through folded space," Amanda explained. "We're starting to exist in multiple locations at the same time." "That's impossible," Lisa said. "Not anymore," Amanda replied. On the main screen, the stars began to look strange. Some of them appeared to be moving, while others seemed to be in 2 places at once. The USS Defiance was no longer following the normal rules of physics. "Captain, I'm getting a weak signal from Admiral Price," Tony announced. "Put her on screen," Jake ordered. The image was fuzzy and filled with static, but they could see Admiral Price on the bridge of her flagship. She looked tired and worried. "Captain Morrison, is that you? We thought the USS Defiance was decommissioned." "Ma'am, we're still here, and we might be able to help." "Help?" "Jake, you have 1 old ship against 200 alien warships. I appreciate the offer, but you should try to escape while you can. Admiral, there are things about my ship that you don't know. We're activating some very special systems. If they work, we might be able to even the odds." Admiral Price looked skeptical. "What kind of systems?" Before Jake could answer, the communication signal cut out as another power surge ran through the ship. "Captain, the temporal shielding is coming online," Amanda reported. "We're about to become very hard to target." "What does that mean?" Ryan asked. "It means we'll be slightly out of phase with normal time," Amanda explained. "Enemy weapons will have trouble hitting us because we'll be existing a few seconds in the past and future at the same time." Jake tried to understand what she was saying, but it hurt his head to think about it. Will we be able to fight back? The particle beam cannons should work, Amanda said. But Jake, these weapons don't just destroy things. They erase them from existence at the quantum level. Anything we hit will be completely unmade. Lisa was reading her instruments with growing amazement. Captain, the ship's structure is changing. The hull is becoming harder and more flexible at the same time. It's like the metal is alive. The Corellian technology is adapting the ship to handle the stress of existing in multiple dimensions, Amanda said. Ryan stood up from his weapons station. Captain, my targeting computer is showing impossible readings. It says I can hit targets that haven't appeared yet. The temporal systems are letting you see a few seconds into the future, Amanda explained. You'll be able to shoot enemy ships before they even begin to move. Katie's voice was filled with wonder as she watched her. Sensors. Captain, space itself is bending around us. I can see through the curve of space-time to locations that should be impossible to observe. Jake looked around at his crew. They were no longer just 5 people on an old ship. They were becoming something entirely new, something that existed, partly outside the normal universe. How much longer until all systems are online, he asked. 30 minutes, Amanda replied. But Jake, once we're fully activated, we can't go back. The ship will be permanently changed. And us? Jake asked quietly. Amanda hesitated. I don't know. We might be changed too. The bridge fell silent except for the strange humming sounds coming from the awakening systems. Outside the windows, space continued to twist and bend around them. The USS Defiance was becoming something that had never existed before in the universe. Captain, I'm detecting the alien fleet, Katie announced. They're 4 hours away from Earth. Jake made his decision. Amanda, bring all systems to full power. Lisa, prepare for combat operations. Ryan, get ready to use weapons that can unmake reality itself. Katie, plot a course to intercept the alien fleet. Tony, try to contact Earth one more time. What should I tell them? Tony asked. Jake looked out at the stars, which no longer looked the same as they had an hour ago. The USS Defiance was becoming something beyond human understanding, but it was still a human ship with a human crew. Tell them that help is coming, Jake said. Tell them that the forgotten ship is forgotten no more. The alien technologies that had been sleeping for 20 years were finally awakening. The USS Defiance was about to become the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy, and 5 humans were about to discover what it meant to wield the power of gods. Admiral Vexatheron stood on his command deck, watching the tactical display with satisfaction. His grand armada had spread out across the human solar system like a net, trapping the pitiful Earth fleet. The humans had 47 ships gathered, near their 4th planet, preparing for a hopeless last stand. Sir, our advanced scouts report the human fleet is in position, his tactical officer announced. They appear to be using standard defensive formations. Predictable, Vexatheron said with amusement. These humans fight like every other primitive species we have conquered. No imagination, no advanced tactics. Suddenly, alarms began ringing throughout the alien flagship. Officers rushed to their stations as emergency lights flashed red. Admiral, we have a problem, the tactical officer called out, his voice filled with confusion. Our sensors are detecting an unknown vessel approaching at impossible speed. Impossible. Speed? Explain. Sir, the ship appears to be moving faster than light, but not using any propulsion system we can identify. It's like it's folding space around itself. Vexatheron moved to the sensor station and looked at the readings. What he saw made no sense. The unknown ship was appearing in multiple locations at once, phasing in and out of normal space like a ghost. How many ships? He demanded. That's just it, sir. Our computers say it's one ship, but it's showing up on sensors in 6 different places at the same time. The USS Defiance materialized in the middle of the alien formation like a nightmare, coming to life. The ship looked nothing like it had an hour ago. Its hull was now a deep black that seemed to absorb light, and strange energy patterns danced across its surface. Reality bent around it like heat waves, making it hard to look at directly. On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Morrison sat in his command chair, feeling the power of the ship flowing through him. He could sense the alien fleet around them, could feel their confusion and growing fear. The temporal systems were letting him see several seconds into the future, showing him exactly what the enemy would do before they did it. "Ryan, target the lead destroyer," Jake ordered. Ryan's hands moved over his weapons controls with impossible precision. The targeting computer was showing him weak points in the enemy ship's structure, revealing information that should have been impossible to know. "Target acquired, Captain. Particle beam ready. Fire." The particle beam that erupted from the USS Defiance was unlike any weapon ever seen in the galaxy. It was pure white energy that seemed to cut through space itself. When it struck the alien destroyer, the massive warship simply ceased to exist. It didn't explode or break apart. It was unmade at the quantum level, erased from reality so completely that even the debris vanished. Admiral Vexatheron watched in horror as his flagship's computers struggled to understand what had happened. One moment there was a destroyer with 800 crew members. The next moment there was empty space. The computers couldn't even remember that the ship had ever existed. "What happened to the Korath?" Vexatheron demanded. "Sir, we have no record of any ship called the Korath," his tactical officer replied, looking confused. But Vexatheron remembered. He had served on that ship 20 years ago. Now it was gone, not just destroyed, but erased from existence itself. "All ships, attack the unknown vessel," he ordered. "Full power to weapons." 200 alien warships opened fire at once. Plasma, cannons, particle beams, and quantum torpedoes filled space with deadly energy. But the USS Defiance was no longer fully in normal space-time. The temporal shielding made it exist partially in the past and future, causing most of the alien weapons to pass through it harmlessly. "Their weapons can't touch us," Lisa reported from her engineering station. "The temporal shielding is working perfectly." Katie was watching the battle unfold on her sensors. "Captain, the aliens are trying to surround us, but they can't track our position. We're moving through folded space faster than they can follow." Jake could see the enemy's movements before they made them. The ship's quantum systems were giving him awareness that extended beyond normal human senses. He was becoming something more than human, connected to the very fabric of space and time. "Ryan, destroy their command ship," Jake ordered. "Which one, sir?" "The big one in the center." "I can feel the fear of their admiral." Ryan targeted the massive alien flagship and fired. The particle beam struck the ship's bridge, and Admiral Vexus Theron had just enough time to realize that he had made a terrible mistake. The humans weren't primitive at all. They had technology that the Empire couldn't even understand. The flagship vanished from existence, taking with it 8,000 alien warriors and all their knowledge of 17 conquered civilizations. "Captain, the enemy fleet is breaking formation," Katie reported. "They're trying to retreat." "Don't let them escape," Jake said coldly. "They came here to destroy humanity. Now they pay the price." The USS Defiance moved through space like a predator hunting prey. It appeared behind enemy ships before they could turn to face it. It struck from impossible angles, using the curved space around it to attack from multiple directions at once. Ryan's targeting system was working perfectly, guided by temporal sensors that could see the immediate future. Every shot hit exactly where it needed to, and every hit completely destroyed an enemy warship. 60 ships down," Ryan reported. 140 remaining. "Keep firing," Jake ordered. The alien fleet was in complete panic now. Their ships were disappearing one by one, unmade by weapons that turned matter into nothingness. Their most advanced shields were useless against attacks that came from outside normal spacetime. Some alien captains tried to surrender, broadcasting desperate messages in their own language. But Jake could feel their intentions through the ship's quantum sensors. These aliens had destroyed 17 civilizations. They had come to Earth planning to kill every human being they could find. "No mercy," Jake said quietly. The USS Defiance continued its terrible work. Ship after ship vanished from existence, their crews never knowing what had killed them. The particle beams didn't just destroy the ships. They erased them so completely that the universe itself forgot they had ever existed. 100 ships down, Ryan announced. The remaining ships are trying to jump to faster than light speed. Don't let them, Jake ordered. Use the quantum drive to follow them into hyperspace. The Defiance folded space around itself and pursued the fleeing aliens into dimensions beyond normal reality. Even in hyperspace, the human ship was faster and more maneuverable than anything the Empire had ever built. All ships destroyed, Captain, Ryan finally reported. The alien fleet is completely gone. Jake sat back in his command chair, feeling the incredible power of the ship slowly settling into standby mode. In less than 6 hours, they had faced the most powerful military force the galaxy had ever seen and completely destroyed it. Katie, any survivors? Jake asked. No, sir. Every alien ship has been eliminated. Jake looked around at his crew. They had all changed during the battle. Their eyes held knowledge that no human should possess, understanding of forces that existed beyond normal reality. Tony, contact Earth. Tell them the threat is over. What should I tell them happened here? Tony asked. Jake thought about how to explain what they had done. How could he tell Earth that 5 forgotten people on a forgotten ship had just erased 200 enemy warships from existence itself? Tell them that the prototype worked, Jake said finally. Tell them that humanity is safe. 3 days after the battle, Jake Morrison stood alone on the observation deck of the USS Defiance, looking out at Earth. The blue planet seemed so small and peaceful from this distance, but Jake knew that everything had changed. Messages were flooding in from all over human space. Some called him a hero, others called him a monster. The ship was docked at Luna Station, the largest space station orbiting Earth's moon. Engineers and scientists from every major university and military base had come to study the vessel that had destroyed an entire alien armada. But Jake wouldn't let them aboard. Not yet, Captain, Amanda said as she entered the observation deck. Admiral Price is here again. She wants to talk. Jake sighed. Admiral Price had been trying to get aboard the ship since they returned to Earth space. She wanted to understand the technology, to build more ships like the Defiance. But Amanda had explained the dangers, and Jake wasn't sure humanity was ready for such power. Send her in, Jake said finally. Admiral Price walked onto the observation deck wearing her dress uniform. She was a stern woman in her 60s who had spent her entire life serving in the Earth Defense Force. But when she looked at Jake, there was something like fear in her eyes. Captain Morrison, she said formally, on behalf of the Earth government and the Defense Force, I want to thank you for saving humanity. You're welcome, Admiral, Jake replied. But I'm not sure we saved anything. We might have just doomed the galaxy. Admiral Price looked confused. What do you mean? The technologies on this ship are too powerful. No one should have weapons that can erase things from existence itself. No one should be able to fold space and time like we did. But you stopped the Zephyrian Empire, Admiral Price said. They would have destroyed every human colony if you hadn't acted. I know, Jake said quietly. But now every other alien civilization in the galaxy knows that humans have these weapons. Some of them will want to destroy us before we can use them again. Others will want to steal our technology for themselves. Through the observation deck windows, they could see news ships from every major network trying to get close to the Defiance. The story of the battle had spread across human space in hours. Earth's stock markets had crashed when people realized that their government possessed weapons of unimaginable power. The President wants to meet with you, Admiral Price said. Congress is demanding a full briefing on the ship's capabilities. And what will you tell them? Jake asked. The truth. That we have the most advanced warship in the galaxy. Jake shook his head. The truth is that we have a weapon that could destroy entire star systems if we're not careful. The truth is that my crew and I are no longer completely human. Admiral Price stepped back. What do you mean? The ship changed us during the battle, Jake explained. We can sense things across vast distances. We can see slightly into the future. We exist partially outside normal space and time. He looked at his hands, which occasionally seemed to flicker between dimensions. We're something new now, something that shouldn't exist. In the ship's laboratory, Amanda was working with Lisa and Ryan to document what had happened to their bodies during the battle. The quantum energies from the ship's systems had altered them at the cellular level, giving them abilities that no human had ever possessed. "My reflexes are 3 times faster than normal," Ryan reported, "and I can sense hostile intentions from people before they even know they're hostile. I can feel the structural stress in any machine just by touching it," Lisa added. "It's like I'm connected to all technology around me." Katie entered the lab carrying a data tablet. "I've been monitoring communications across the solar system," she said. 23 different alien civilizations have sent messages to Earth in the past 2 days. "What do they want?" Amanda asked. "Some want to form alliances with us. Others are demanding that we surrender our new technology. A few are threatening to attack us if we don't destroy the ship." Amanda frowned. "Just as I feared. We've upset the balance of power in the galaxy." Tony joined them, looking worried. "Captain Morrison asked me to monitor military communications. 3 different human colonies are asking for their own ships like the Defiance. They want protection from alien threats. We can't build more ships like this," Amanda said firmly. "The technology is too dangerous. It took us 20 years to build one prototype, and we barely understand how it works." Back on the observation deck, Admiral Price was trying to convince Jake to share the ship's secrets with Earth scientists. "Think about what we could accomplish," she said. "We could explore the entire galaxy. We could defend every human colony. We could become the most powerful civilization in known space." "That's exactly what I'm afraid of," Jake replied. "Power like this corrupts. The Zephyrian Empire probably started out thinking they were protecting their people too. Look what they became." "So what do you suggest?" Admiral Price asked. "Should we just forget about this technology?" Jake was quiet for a long moment, thinking about the choice he had to make. Finally, he spoke. "We keep the ship, but we don't share the technology with anyone. The Defiance and her crew become guardians, not conquerors. We protect humanity from external threats, but we don't let humanity become a threat to others." "The government won't accept that," Admiral Price warned. "They'll want control of the ship. Then they'll have to fight us for it," Jake said calmly. "And Admiral, you've seen what this ship can do in battle." Admiral Price realized that Jake wasn't making a request. He was stating a fact. The USS Defiance was now beyond the control of any government or military force. Its crew had become something new, something that existed outside normal human authority. "What about your crew?" she asked. "Will they follow you?" "We're not the same people who left Earth 3 days ago," Jake said. "We're connected now, linked by the quantum energies that changed us. We all understand what needs to be done." Over the next few weeks, the news of humanity's victory spread to every corner of the galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire had been the most feared military force in known space, and now it was gone, completely erased by a single human ship. Some alien civilization sent ambassadors to Earth, hoping to negotiate peaceful relationships with this new power. Others began building larger fleets, preparing for what they saw as an inevitable human conquest of the galaxy. But the USS Defiance didn't conquer anyone. Instead, it became a legend, appearing wherever innocent beings were threatened by aggressive empires. It protected human colonies from alien raiders. It stopped wars between smaller civilizations. It became a force for peace, but a peace backed by weapons that could unmake reality itself. Jake and his crew aged slowly, their bodies sustained by the quantum energies that flowed through the ship. They became eternal guardians, watching over a galaxy that was slowly learning to fear and respect the species from Earth. Years passed and new threats emerged from the depths of space. But each time the USS Defiance was there, a ghost ship that appeared when needed and vanished when its work was done. Katie often wondered what would have happened if they had never activated the ship's systems. Would humanity have found another way to survive? Would the galaxy be a better place? But Jake never regretted his decision. The universe was a dangerous place, filled with empires that would destroy weaker species without hesitation. Someone had to stand guard. Someone had to be ready to fight monsters with weapons that could unmake existence itself. The USS Defiance continued its eternal patrol, no longer forgotten, no longer overlooked. It had become humanity's sword and shield, wielded by 5 people who were no longer entirely human but who remembered what it meant to protect the innocent. And in the depths of space, other ancient civilizations began to stir, drawn by rumors of the ship that had destroyed the Zephyrian Empire. New challenges were coming, but humanity was ready. The prototype had become legend. The overlooked had become eternal.